Hey guys, welcome to Kemma's Never Seen It. I'm Kemma, and the movie that I'm gonna have you judge me on today is Home Alone. Before anyone gets mad at me, I've seen clips of this movie, and I've heard different sounds that actually come from this movie. And as I was watching it, I was just like, oh, that's where that came from? So, I mean, that's nice. You know, I know what the joke means now. I know where the sounds come from now and all these skits people make, so forgive me. I'm on pace with y'all now. But nonetheless, before I get into my opinions of the movie, we're gonna go ahead and read, based off of the DVD cover, what this movie is about. So this is what the movie is about, based off of what's on the back of the DVD cover. Remember DVDs? I actually kind of miss DVDs. 8-year-old Kevin McCallister has become the man of the house overnight. Accidentally left behind when his family rushes off on a Christmas vacation, Kevin gets busy decorating the house for the holidays. But he's not decking the halls with tinsel and holly. 2 bumbling burglars are trying to break in, and Kevin's rigging a bewildering battery of booby traps to welcome them. After watching the movie, that's a pretty good description of what happened. These parents and brothers and sisters and family and cousins and uncles and aunts left this little kid, this 8-year-old kid, home alone because they're haters. And then he had to fend for himself, all for himself. That's basically what it says, and that is basically what the movie was about. Let me just say, the family was haters. I don't know what was, like, Kevin was bad. Don't get me wrong. Kevin was bad. The way he talked to his mama, didn't he call her an idiot? No, he was bad. But they were all so mean to that little boy. Again, was he the youngest? He might have been the second youngest. No, he was the youngest of his family. But out of everyone there, he was one of the youngest, I think. I don't know. I'll have to watch it again, I guess. But he was one of the youngest there, and they were all so mean to him. They wouldn't help him pack. They wouldn't tell him what to pack. The older brother, who is, he looks like he smells like wet towels. Was just so mean to him. And even the mom and dad were mean to him too. Maybe not the dad as much. He didn't talk a lot. But they were all so mean to him. So no wonder he was just like, you know what? I wish y'all would disappear. I wish y'all would go away.
I didn't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. And I didn't want to see anybody else either.
Ooh.
I hope you don't mean that.
Which I feel like is a shared experience amongst kids. If you've never had that experience where you wish that your family or parents or brothers or sisters would disappear, congrats. I'm happy for you. But for those of us who have had that feeling and then you wake up the next morning and they're still there, yeah. But nonetheless, I understand him. They were all so mean to him. They put him in the attic. What? And also, there's just a lot wrong with this family. First of all, I'm getting too much ahead of myself. The beginning of the movie, there's a cop in the front of the house asking all these kids, hey, is there an adult here? Parents here? Some. Who let him in the house? And they just walked away from him. You're going to leave a stranger in the front of your house and just run around the house? What? Times were different. Let me just say that. But once the mama, when she finally talks to him, she's like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry, but we're going out of town tomorrow at this time, and we're all gonna be leaving, and we're gonna be gone for this long, and you know, that's when we'll come back at this time. She basically invited this man to come, because why are you giving him so much information about what you're doing? I know it's a cop. However, you don't have to say all this information. It's just too much. Like, they're all mad at Kevin. They're talking to this cop with a gold tooth. How they didn't realize he had a gold tooth, I don't know.
Kids are still going to school here. And
how Kevin was the only one who realized he had a gold tooth, I don't know. But, you know, it's a lot. Like, the start of the movie was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. But they end up being late for the airport. The older sister does a head count. And this is what I'll say. While I think it's irresponsible to only do a head count and not see everyone there,
7, 8, 9, 10.
I can almost forgive that. Because you're just like, oh, this many people should be here. We're good to go. Okay, I can almost forgive that. When they get into the car, look at everyone's faces. Again, they know Kevin's bad. They know Kevin's kind of annoying. He always got something to say. They didn't notice that during the whole car ride to the airport. They didn't notice. I don't know how boarding worked back then, but boarding, scanning tickets and stuff to get onto the plane, they didn't notice he was gone then. And also, it took so long into the flight for it, and only the mom noticed.
Kevin!
I don't know. I don't know. Meanwhile, Kevin's at home by himself. Granted, he's happy. He's over here eating pizza and drinking milk, which that just honestly made my stomach turn. But hey, he's not playing by any rules. He's doing whatever he wants. He's watching these movies he shouldn't be watching. He's running around the house, screaming, doing all this stuff. Like, good for Kevin, you know? Good for him. He's living the childhood dream of being home alone. Then the burglars come back. They scare Kevin. And honestly, for a kid, an 8-year-old, which by the way, I did not know how old Kevin was exactly. I think I kind of guessed. I was just like, oh, he's 7 or he's like 10 or something like that. I guessed a lot. For being an 8-year-old, I mean, he was so creative. Like the first night that the burglars came, he made it seem like there were people partying in the house. And he had like cutouts and like different things with stuff on top of their heads to make it look like there are people there. That is so creative. That's so innovative. For an 8-year-old, I was just like, that's crazy. The second time they came around, I'm pretty sure when they played that the second time he came around, I'm pretty sure that's when he played that movie. And that scared off one of them because there was all the pew, 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 you know, and then he got scared like someone was actually fighting in the house. Dumb burglar, but you know, it scared him, so he got away. And then the time after that, that's when Kevin set up all the booby traps and everything. And again, everybody's so creative. But Kevin actually is creative. As a grown adult now, I don't know if I would have the creativity to set up traps like that or actually have them be effective. Like the hot doorknobs, the water on the steps, chicken feathers, the cake pan, the chicken feathers and paint cans that he threw at them, the little toy cars all over the floor. Like, this boy was smart. This boy was so creative. He got them good. And I'm just proud of him. I was a Kevin fan the whole time. Kevin, like, he was getting a bad rap. Again, he was bad. But he was just getting a bad rap from his family. You know what I mean? And eventually he was just like, you know what? I do miss my family. Even though sometimes, you know, they get on my nerves and I know that I can be a lot. But, you know, we're family. I miss them. And that's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful as well. Speaking of family, back to the mama when she realized that Kevin was gone. What I will give her props for is that as soon as she realized it, she was willing to literally do anything to get back home. That much I will give her credit for. She tried to sell her jewelry. She tried to buy whatever ticket, no matter how much it cost. She was just like, I'm gonna stay at the airport and figure this out so I can get back home. She genuinely did everything she could. While I do understand you don't want the trip to go to waste because they were in France, the dad didn't fight too much to like help out, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I get it. They're in France. And also they didn't show what they did in France. So I wonder if they really did rendezvous or they just stayed in that little room. I don't know. But eventually she gets home. She hitched a ride. She got home and she got to her son. Granted, she could have just waited to fly back home because her husband and the kids were right after her. It seems like they were driving behind her the whole time. But, you know, she did what she could to try to get home to Kevin. And then they just had Christmas and everything was good and they were a family and everything was so nice. Honestly, I did like the movie. I did enjoy the movie. I don't think it's anything that blew my socks off or was just like, this is such an amazing movie. But I did enjoy the movie. It was a good holiday movie. I thought there were some funny parts. I thought there were some terrible parts, which I'll talk about in a second. And there was a part in there that almost made me cry at the very end of the movie. But all in all, I think that this was a pretty good movie. The part that pissed me off during this entire movie. Why would they keep showing a tarantula on the screen? Do you know how many times they showed that tarantula on the screen and how many times I crawled in my skin because they want to play games and show a tarantula crawling everywhere?
Who's gonna your spider while we're going?
Why do they keep showing that? Okay.
Did I get him? Did I get him?
Hated that. I hated that so much. God, I hate bugs. And bugs might hate me too. I get it. But like, ugh. But yeah, I would say that was probably the worst part of the movie. Why would you keep putting that spider on there? That just, thinking about it now makes my skin crawl. I don't like it. The part that made me really happy, I thought was very wholesome, almost made me cry, was the older man, the neighbor, the one that the older brother said was actually like bad and like, you know, unalived people. He was my favorite. When Kevin met him at the church and he was talking about how he doesn't talk to his son because they had some differences and hasn't talked to them, and the only way he can see his granddaughters, he comes to the church, but he can't be there when his son's there. Kevin was just like, maybe you should just talk to him, which obviously is the most simple thing ever. Like, of course the old man knows that, but he didn't actually think that it was a possibility. But Kevin was just like, just talk to him. Just try, or else you'll never know. And I was just like, you know what, Kevin? This is why I loved Kevin. I was just like, you know what, Kevin? You're right. Just do it. Because if you don't do it, you'll never know. And again, in this life, you're only getting older. You know, time is going to pass regardless of what you do. So just go for it. And at the end of the movie, it showed him and his son and his granddaughter and probably the son's wife. And they were hugging and they were crying and they were going into the old man's house because they reconnected. And I just, oh my God. That part genuinely like almost like made me start tearing up. I thought it was so beautiful, so wholesome. I just, just so heartwarming. Like that in itself, that part just made it an all around good holiday warm feeling to me. And oh God, I loved it. But now that that's over, we'll get into a couple more stats on this movie. So this says that it got a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that that's fairly rated. It's not a movie that really, again, blew my mind and was this such amazing movie. I thought it was a good movie, but you know, I can see why it's a classic, you know, but at the same time, it just, yeah, it was a good movie. This also says Home Alone grossed $285.8 million in the US and Canada and $190.9 million in other countries for a worldwide total of $476.7 million against a production budget of $18 million. Boy, let me the profit on that. And in real life, Macaulay Culkin, he probably was 8 or like elementary school age, and he was the star of the movie. Boy. And its opening weekend, Home Alone grossed $17 million from 1,202 theaters. So opening weekend, it almost broke even. That's insane. Oh my God. Averaging $14,211 per site and just 6% of the final total, and added screens over the next 6 weeks with a peak count of 2,174 during its 8th weekend at the end of January 1991. Let me tell you, $1 million in the 90s, it ain't nothing like how it is now. It's still a lot now. But back then, whew, geez. Oh, and something else that I saw, because I like vacations. I'd be window shopping at flights and stuff, and I wanted to see how much it cost to fly to Paris in 1990. I looked it up. Someone actually put this in for Home Alone specifically, and it says, in the year 1990, 15 flights from Chicago to Paris, including 11 economy and 4 first-class tickets on American Airlines, which they did fly in the film, would have cost about $35,320 according to prior calculations by WMUR. That is about double now. And I feel like it's more than just double. It could be triple now. To be able to live those kind of perks. Oh my God. Because things are, oh my God, to live those kind of perks. And you know the mass amount of those that cost were the first class tickets. And it's still 15 tickets. But anyway, before I wallow away in sadness thinking about all the flights that I could have taken in 1990 had I been born in time to do so at a cheap cost, it was a good movie. I did like the movie. I can definitely see why it's kind of a classic. It's kind of a little funny, feel-good kind of movie. Yeah, I mean, let me know what you think about my opinion on the movie Home Alone. I'm pretty sure a lot of you really like this movie. It's probably one of your favorites, something you may watch every year. So let me know what you think, what you remember, maybe some stuff that I didn't talk about that you want to hear my opinion about. Go ahead and leave a comment, and just let me know what you think. But that's the end of my video. Let me know what you think. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Tell everyone that you know about it. I'm going to be doing more of these and just reviewing all these movies I've never seen. And again, you will be surprised at all the movies I have never seen. But I'm going to watch them. I'm going to watch them. I'm going to review them. I'm going to let you know what I think about it. Don't be too mad at me if it's something that you don't like. But I'm going to say what I think about it. Thanks for watching this video, y'all. Until next time.